is exactly what it was like when we were meeting on our Monday nights to talk about Bando, and everyone afterwards was like, "Oh,
Uh,
Bando, it was such a great experience." Like, it was literally me and Aaron going, "Ami, Ami," and then me calling Ami and going, "Ami, you know we're still on the call. Can you answer the question that you've been asked?"
I was shooting some scenes for the GRM Daily documentary, Together We Rise with YouTube. And I was interviewing Jamal Edwards, shooting that, and I just sort of said to him like, "Hey, I want to get involved in youth work. Like, I was told that you would be a good person to speak to." And then Jamal's response was essentially, "You need to speak to a man like Colin. Like, Colin's the guy. You got to speak to Colin. Colin." And I was like, "Who's Colin?" And then he introduced me to you, and we, I mean, I guess you then we had a couple of phone calls, but then after that, you invited me to the Zoom sessions where it was a group of young people from Bolo, who were all sort of sharing their experiences of um, their lives ultimately,
Yeah,
um,
yeah. And so
in
this was
London.
lockdown. So this was
Yeah,
like
lockdown.
late 2020.
Yeah.
And we were working in Bolo with like this very small numbers of young people. And we've been working with
Mm.
a couple of young people who were being, say, quite involved in kind of gang related stuff. And they had expressed their frustration at the way that their life was being portrayed,
Correct. Yeah.
specifically in stuff
Yeah.
like Top Boy and in
Yeah.
drill videos and sort of the glamorization. And I remember one of them saying, like, I walk down the streets and I see all these kids who want to be me, and I don't want to be me.
Mm.
And so we got together. Yeah, it was that. So we got together a group of young people, so including Ami and Zara, right? So seven young people to talk about their lives and about how we could make something. We didn't know what at all,
Yeah. That's right.
how we could make something um, that would be like a truer representation of their
Mm.
lives.
I do remember there being a point. I mean, maybe after about 4 or 5 Monday meetings like this, where I sort of said to you, Colin, like maybe I should start taking notes or something, or
Mm,
maybe I should start, because I do appreciate that at the beginning, like you guys didn't know me, so you didn't really know like what I was about, what my intentions were or not. So I kind of remember being quite nervous on the first couple, because you guys were obviously trying to work me out too. Um, so then when it actually felt good, and you guys felt like you sort of trusted me a little bit more, we then started making some notes, and then
mm,
you know it started to develop from there. Really, I'd say we're
mm,
at least 4 sessions in, I reckon.
mm. But I remember it was quite early on. Some quite kind of deep stuff was discussed.
Mm.
And a lot of the stuff was around, without kind of going too much into details, that was around how street life and all of that kind of stuff basically shut people's lives down. Um, and
And also
actually,
shutting down some of those misconceptions of being able to sort of quote unquote get out.
yeah,
That was quite apparent. Was sort of the idea of like trying to leave the life wasn't as simple as the way that some of these TV shows may make it out to be.
yeah.
The
Well,
tendrils of
and the slow creep as well, which I think is what we tried to show in the
And
film,
it's
right?
nowhere near as glamorous
Yeah.
and
yeah.
as attainable. Like it's attainable. You can always go and be someone's younger and start doing things, but what I think we was really getting into conversation about was all of our experiences, the differences, the similarities, and being really raw and honest about them. But also there was like a there was so many different takes on it. Some people had had certain experiences and they didn't like it. Some people had had certain experiences and thought that they were better for it. Some people felt like they were trapped and they didn't want to be in the scenario. Some people had voluntarily put themselves in predicaments where they're offering up to do these things because of the area we grew up in, and unfortunately just the circumstances that we
Mm.
came from. So it's just it was really interesting. It was a really like nice process to learn.
None of us had made a film before, right?
Mm.
Like
Of
this.
course. No, none of us had prior experience to this stuff. Sorry, guys, my phone just fell over. A lot of the sessions were literally just like this. literally just like this. But in retrospect, we can look back and say that at the time we were just a bunch of different people pulled from different places, different things, different uh yeah, just different trades, different things we were interested in, different things that we could do and wanted to do, and all just kind of discussed it and then made something so quick, but also it took so long because we spent so many Mondays. Honestly,
I remember at the
Yeah.
time thinking
done
it
it.
took forever. I remember thinking this is taking far too
I
long.
thought it wasn't gonna happen,
Yeah.
but then
But now it
Yeah.
seems crazy,
the
right?
filming
The cool
process
thing.
and everything just went full steam ahead. And then I think a lot of it was the planning, the
Yeah.
plot, the thinking, and we created something so everyone will it's subjective, isn't it, how everyone kind of interprets the success that come from it, but it was a huge thing, and we actually all like it was a huge part of all of our lives separately and all together. It's nice to look back on.
I'm back at the shop floor. Bonjour. I've got more.
And then all of a sudden, so we're like 5 months in, we've got a script, we're working on it, and then all of it, and then Aaron, you turn around and say,
Oh yeah.
we got to shoot in a month,
Yeah, because
something like
I
that, or
just
like
went
three
to
weeks. It's 3 weeks, I think, right?
Yeah.
no, 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 no.
Guys, it was so
It was longer.
stressful.
It
It
was
was
like
so
five.
stressful, but it was so fun.
Yeah.
Like I could
Because the
literally
thing is,
cry thinking about it and shed tears into my pasta.
since then, it's been similar advice I've actually offered to directors and writers and stuff in the industry. Is like just set yourself a deadline and actually hold yourself to account for it, because then you'll actually get it done. Um, and I think that was a big part of why we actually got it done, was because we
Yeah.
had to.
So this is
Only
where
from a
Victor
character
then
perspective.
you get
Oh
involved,
yeah.
right? So you get cast as a side character, one of the elders, and then come along. And I remember just sitting with you, Kvelli, a couple of others in Bolo, just going over and over the script. And that's when we kind of honed it, right, to get it authentic. You guys just going over and over and over what would be said, how someone would walk in the door. I remember just long chats about how you would open a bando, how you would prop open a door or not, to
Yeah,
make sure it was so authentic.
I kind of liked it being like it wasn't fully fleshed, so it was there was space to play around, people to collaborate, throw ideas, or be like, whatever, let's. Yeah, there was like a skeleton, but there was room to play around or change things, which I liked that.
I remember taking heaps of notes across all of the sessions on the Mondays, writing down lots and lots of things, and then Colin giving us some rules, which ended up being sort of critical to the entire conception of it, which was that we had to be implicit with our visual representation of the life of gang culture, because we didn't want to condemn the characters to racial or social economic stereotypes. So we would hide things like, if there was any, because obviously Colin plays a crackhead, which there's a bit of dealing going on in the film at a certain point with Victor's character, but we never saw it. It was more about um Zed's experience of that and how he felt about having to do that.
I remember, so we got offered like this block, which was basically abandoned. It had a few residents in, but very few, by Ealing Council to film in. And a day before, we realized that we didn't actually have any power. And
Oh,
you
yeah.
might not even known about this, Aaron. I think only me and Matthias were like, "Oh my God, we're not going to be able to film. Like, we can't do this. We actually have no power." And so I was like running up and down Ealing trying to like find a key, because the flat that we found, which was amazing, right? I mean, that was
Yeah.
such a fluke to find that flat. We kind of got taken around by Ealing's housing team to look at all of these abandoned flats, and most of them were just like whitewashed, ripped out, and then all of a sudden they opened this door
Yeah.
to this
To the
amazing
paper.
flat with great wallpaper and great character, and there was no set design. And then suddenly we're on set. So we've had all these
Yeah.
discussions. I mean, Ami Zari had spent 6 months sat in Zoom calls, probably not knowing what was coming. I didn't know what was coming. And then we
Yeah,
walked
I did.
in on the first day, Aaron, and we were just like, what? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how many people you brought in. like how much crew there were. It was crazy though. And I mean,
Yeah, what
I'd
was
never
that
seen
like for
anything
you
like it.
guys? What was that like for you, Amy and Zara, to sort of see that on day one with like the monitors and everything?
All of the people, I just felt real. It just felt so real. It was so exciting. I think because we got our little catering and we were all turning up and making sure we were trying to film the scenes in chronological order, and we really didn't. It was all like I think we recorded the ending first,
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
we? And like
yeah.
we was like trying to do everything properly. I mean, I know I was anyway. I was trying to make sure everyone was wearing, bringing the right outfit so we don't look like stupid. We've got some glitchy scene where someone's randomly wearing something and then something else. It was like it had its challenges, but when we actually got there and we saw all of the crew, even because there was young people shadowing people that were learning off of every aspect of what we had going on. There was people who were interested in it, and then they were shadowing the people that were doing it properly, or like who was it? There was a team, isn't it? There was younger people learning.
Yeah. Yeah. So Jenny was
They
doing
would,
it, Desiree.
yeah, I remember,
Yeah.
I remember, and then we had everyone in their little spaces in the corridors all the time, filming stuff, and then soon I remember. There was one picture, when I look back, there's this one picture of me in the corridor, and it had the caption of like, this corridor saw me more times than my family this week. And it was like, that was so true. I was literally like, but we were so dedicated. We were still turning up. All the young people were still turning up. Even when we was having a meltdown and it was getting too much and everyone was too overwhelmed, we were like, you know what? Right, everyone
Yeah.
calm down. This is what's happening. That's what's happening. And then we pulled through.
I
We
think it's
pulled
worth noting it
through.
was also Ramadan.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
so most of the cast and crew were fasting.
Remember they used to run off, bless them, and go
Yeah,
eat
yeah.
after. Yeah,
What
I
what I
remember.
say what I say though was it was very inspirational because like that was the first I've never filmed that. That was the first thing I've ever filmed. So like I think in a way like Aaron can like we got spoiled because it was like we were almost like we were on a it felt very professional. So it was like, whoa, this is what we're doing. Like it felt very professional. The camera, the screens, the monitors, the crew, everything. And it just yeah, it was very inspiring. And it was as much as it being overwhelming, it was like, okay, it set us in. It was like, okay,
It
this
was
is
a proper good experience and a great first way to do anything, really, and everything. I'm sure Colin enjoyed being a crackhead for the first time.
I
This is
was
what.
first time ever. It was great.
The project was supported by Ari Rental, and we shot on the Ari Mini LF. We're able to basically shoot the film on the same camera that most Hollywood movies are shot on, in the Alexa Mini LF. And then, yeah, we had heaps of lighting from Panelux. They gave us tons and tons of stuff. Like we had a lot of light, to be fair. And yeah, it was
And we have people
everything
who had worked on
I
all
wanted.
kinds of things, right?
Yeah, I think our first AD, I met him on Avenue 5, which is a TV show that I did with him. He was a third on that, and then he came out and did first thing for us, I think, for a little bit. Um, and then like Matt Lewis, who is the focus puller, um, he's gone on to go and do Boiling Point. So, he's done heaps well. So it was yeah, it was a really good mix of like
Mm.
people who believed in the project.
And it was, as I said, it was kind of semi-lockdown, and so there wasn't much work.
Yeah,
So
also
everyone
true.
was really keen to kind of come
Yeah,
and help, right?
yeah. I
I mean,
mean,
this was
I
made
did
with no
feel like it
budget
was,
at all.
yeah, it was no budget.
Mm. And then, yeah, it's done. And a
Ah, we
couple of months,
skipping that
well, the
part.
first bit's done. So it's a 4-day shoot. And then about a month later, I think we saw the first. I mean, do you remember like seeing the first version, guys?
Yeah, what did you guys think when you saw like the early cuts and stuff? Once you saw it like come to life, I guess. Because obviously I appreciate that you were able to see it on the monitors, but to actually feel like a scene being complete and then also have the understanding that that scene you knew in your heads how long it took, but actually it was only 2 minutes on the screen.
I don't know. I just first thing was like, oh, I'm so glad this is not one of those dead little YouTube films. That's what I thought it was gonna be. I'm not gonna lie. Like when you lot said you're making a film, I was like, "Pff, nothing like Spielberg, wherever you like. Let's be real. Like talking for some shitty little youth center in South Acton, I beg you, allow it. We're not capable of those things. So when I saw, I was like, raw, like Colin wasn't bullshitting. Shit. And then obviously like um I know I made it like I kept asking Colin like I want to see how it's done, I want to see how it's done and actually watching you do it live and seeing you on Premiere Pro and stuff like it actually made me kind of interested in like oh shit, how does that work and what are you using and asking you questions and just kind of expanding my knowledge more in the creative space. I think we've all used Bando in different ways. In some ways for our portfolios, just a more of a passion project as a resource. So obviously in the capacity I've used it in is more of a training resource with Yara and Delve and all of that. And the feedback that we get when people watch it is like, well, first is that did Hassanin die? And then the second bit is more like were the youngers a mirror of what the olders were? What does this all mean? Is like a certain line from that bit in the film? Is this the whole full circle moment, etc., etc. So like, and obviously when you're listening to everyone, sometimes it's like, raw, like you know what? We didn't actually think about that, but that's kind of cool. Like you said that, I'm gonna add that to the next person I speak to, and yeah, I don't know, just watching it again and obviously listening to people when they have watched it and their feedback, it just makes me think it was just so beautifully designed. I think it's meant to be understood in whatever way somebody decides to receive it. I don't think there is a right or wrong answer. Like you can be the one that doesn't want to be involved, that isn't really involved, that isn't really exposed to the vulnerabilities outside, although you can get wrapped in something in like 2.5 seconds.
Yeah,
Oh,
amazing.
I mean, I think that's actually the bit like you couldn't have explained it any better.
In
yeah.
Because
Istanbul,
every single person that was involved, every single person that's watched it, they're gonna have their own perspective on it, and the people involved are gonna have taken different things from it. Even like for one of us, it might just be memories of it. Oh, do you remember when we did Bando? And do you remember how fun this was? Or do you remember the sprinkle cake we ate on set or something? For someone else, it might be like you said, something for their portfolio, something that really helped them. For someone else, it might have been the first time that they just tried that new thing. Like for me, that was the first time I ever tried directing. And I think it definitely helped us all in different aspects. It's definitely something I'll always look back on and be proud. To answer your question from earlier, Aaron, when we was first watching it, for me it was like, wow, like we actually first of all, it looks so cinematic. It looks great. Like the quality of it was amazing. Also the acting I think was pretty good for people who weren't actors. And yeah, like it was a great thing. And what Ami's saying is so right. Even for people watching it, they get to have their own perspective on it, their own take on it. Some people might watch it and be like, what the hell? It didn't even make any sense. What's going on? Some people might watch it and be like, they completely get it and they are so proud that we've done and achieved what we've achieved. Some people might watch it and be like, do you know what? It was a great job for people who didn't have the experience, but at the same time, um, they completely understand the deeper meanings, the connections, the way we layered it, and all of the links between the characters, the olders, the youngers, and people are definitely, obviously, everyone's it's open for interpretation.
One of the issues still, I guess, is that it's still a film about that life. And I feel sometimes that people are so used to watching these kind of glamorized kind of ideas of what road is like that they kind of expect to see it. I mean, this is just a day in the life. I remember Victor doing this workshop with you with professionals about it, showing in the film, and then them asking you, well, what happens the next day to your character? What happens? What's next? And you say, oh, it's just another day. Like nothing happens. Like it just keeps
Well,
happening. This is just a day in the life. It's not this massive moment. There isn't this massive thing that happens. There's no guns, there's no murder, there's no and some people are like, "Wow, these guys are wet," like rah 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 rah. And it's like, hang on a second, this is I think one of the real reasons it is the acting was so good is because it's so real. And so many of the
yeah,
actors, they
that's
weren't
why it's
playing
good.
themselves, but they recognized what they were playing as
Exactly. That's why it's good. I think it's unique because there's a u- there's films like this as well, but they're very unique and they sit people who watch them because there's no like big conclusion. It's like it's more asking a question than it is answering a question. So I think that leaves audiences not confused, but it leaves them like, where do I go from? What do I take from? What do I? It leaves them asking more questions, right? But it's like what you said. The brilliance of it is the it's we're just we're watching life happen on screen. It's like this is their life. This is their day. This is what's happened. It's trying to ask more questions, basically what I'm trying to say, which I have
I
said.
guess the thing
What
is
I love those type of movies.
yeah, and listening to Cavelli's track at the end, it's this idea of all of these people and like your character, but you feel all of the other characters kind of going, well, how did we end up here? Like not having the answers themselves about their own lives. I mean, whether it's, Javier who, the one who punches his friend and that look that he does, this kind of everything that he's been trying to put off has happened.
Mm.
Like
Money shot.
it's everyone going, there is no plan here. And there is no tomorrow and there is no yesterday. There's just today and we're just trying to get through it. And we don't quite know how we got here and we don't know where we're going.
Mm.
And obviously some people are going to struggle with that in a film, right? But I think that is
Yeah,
what makes it so both realistic and also so powerful.
I think what
absolutely.
Victor said is so true. It's more asking a question rather than answering it. And I think what you're saying, Colin, is so true in a sense of it's like, when say for example I'll give you an analogy, yeah. When I was when I went over to America and I started eating food over there, I come back to the UK and food all of a sudden tasted really bland. Yeah. Or like when we get used to a lot of different additives, for example, in our food, when you actually eat real food or whatever, it just all of a sudden is a bit like, you know what I'm saying? But it's all about context. People probably are used to seeing, yeah, okay, well, this is what this film is about. A lot more action and high drama and da, da, da.
Hollywood.
Doesn't need to be that because a lot of the times it's not that. What happens after to your character? That's subjective. That's more of a question you should be asking yourself. And I liked how Victor put it because it's exactly that. It's more what we were doing with it. The context behind it is we really wanted to stay away from the whole glamorization, just everything that's already been done. Because for people, it's different. Everyone's experience is personal to themselves. So what happens to your character after? I don't know. Maybe that person got out. Maybe that person didn't. Maybe that person um the possibilities are endless. I don't know what I can say and not say on here in it. But you know what I'm saying? You need to think of every single character, all of the different possibilities. People aren't black and white, and these situations, people in these situations aren't black and white, and there is so many different possibilities.
That process really it really inspired me. Like I was dipping in and out acting. I've done some stuff like workshop stuff and but like I said, I never studied acting in school or anything. Um and I was yeah, just doing that short film, the cameras, telling a story from beginning to end. It inspired me. I was like, you know what, like fuck it. Oh, wait, you don't look, you don't care.
Do it. Do it.
I was like,
Go.
fuck it. Fuck it, I'm gonna go drama school. And my boys have been telling me, I've met a few people in acting world, and they've been telling me, oh, drama school, drama school. I've been like, nah. But then that film, Bando, literally did make me be like, fuck it. I loved it so much. I loved the process so much that I was like, I want to go drama school. So we filmed that like, was that April, May, or something?
Yeah.
Like April, May 2021.
One.
And then I guess like in the summer, so like August, July-ish, I was just searching on Google. I was like, what's the best drama schools? Applied for Juilliard. Yes, Juilliard. Um, and then went through that. I don't think I told you, Colin, until there was like a museum thing in November. I think I told you I had, because my first audition was in November. So I signed up in September. First audition was in November for like international students. And then I think there was an event going on, but so I did the audition then, got through, had to go there in January, but it was COVID, so we had to do it on Zoom again. And then I had to go to New York in March for the final bit, which is like the final 50 applicants out of whoever thousand applicants. And then yeah, got in. Much help as well. Let me not leave that part out. A lot of help
So hang
from,
on. So how many like 5,000 applicants, something like that? How many people
yeah,
get in?
loads of applicants. Loads of applicants got out, yeah, thousands, and then it goes down to the last 50 applicants have like a 4 day audition period, and then like 2 days later they let you know who the final 18 are gonna be.
Wow.
So I was one out of 18 that got in. And then they hit us with the bill. I said, I said, it's this much amount of money. I'm like, whoa. Um, and yeah, I can't leave that part out. Like everyone like went toes deep, like 10 toes deep to help get that money. Which is literally the only reason why I'm here right now. Like for
Where are
real.
you?
In New York, in New York City, of course.
Oh,
Um, Not in my school. I would show you if I was in my school. I'm just across the road from my school. Um, and yeah, Best convinced me to do a crowdfunding, which I did not want to fucking do. Um, but best decision I ever made in my life to come here, man. Like to pursue it, yeah, like best decision of my life. And
oh.
yeah, I don't know what else did I miss
I
anything
think that's
out?
enough.
Yeah, man.
You know what? We
Nice.
don't really ever get to catch up too much, all of us, since filming. But I'm really glad, Victor, and I'm actually really surprised. I didn't actually know all of the stuff you just said. I'm glad that it ended up for you like that, and I'm glad that you've utilized it the way that you have, and it
Yeah,
motivated you and put you on the path, and you're glad that you've gone and done that now. That's amazing. I think that's great.
100%. Yeah, all from Bando. All from Bando. But even for the like for the community, like again, like I think part of the reason why acting for me is even though I wanted to dabble in, I'm like, is because like it's not a thing in our ends. Like no one's really acting in West London, period. Like that's more of I always seen it as like a south or east kind of thing, or it has been. And then we decided to make this thing, and then like now whenever I hear Bolo's trying to do a next project
Mm.
or this and that, and I'm like, oh, that was never there before. And it's become yeah, we had music, but now it's become a bigger creative hub. There's a lot more people like wanting to be directors and screenplay writers, script writers, actors, wherever. So even as a community, like it's built, it's I don't know, it's just built like
Mm.
I don't know, filmmaker type of community.
Well, I think that's
Um,
the thing. It's raised the bar, right? That
yeah,
there's obviously the initial 8 young people plus the 4 young little kids who are actually on camera, and then the people around it. But actually, every few weeks someone asks me like, can we make a film or can we do something? Or they've seen Bando and they want to talk about it. And I think it's changed what people think is possible. I mean, I've been criticized um, by schools for letting their students think that they can be film stars. And I think it's so important that people believe that they can be something special.
It's
One
fact.
thing that we actually did in Bando is we enjoyed the process. We genuinely enjoyed it. And it had its ups and downs too, same way, but we actually really enjoyed it. And I, for one, hand on heart, can say, like, I look back on the stream, that was actually such a fun time. That was such a good time. It helped me so much in so many different ways, endless amount of ways. Listen, I'm gonna go though, bruv,
Yeah,
because I've been busy all day. Now I've jumped on here. You put me on blast, yeah. I've accidentally put other
Like,
people's children on blast, yeah. And then on top of it now, bloody, if we stay on this thing, what is it? A Monday today?
Sunday,
Sunday,
Monday
right?
for
Monday
Then
Aaron.
it's gonna end up being
Monday
Sunday.
for me.
Every Sunday we catch up, and we'll end
Yeah,
up making
yeah,
another film before the other one's even out. Yeah.
yeah.
So see you lot later.
See you,
All right,
everyone.
I'm gonna go
Take
too.
like,
care.
All right.
See you
love
See
guys.
ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.